Should be live. Okay, let me check the audio because last time it was kind of crazy. Okay, video, audio is desktop audio, okay, but microphone is the Yeti, yeah? Okay, good. So microphone is only one, the in device. Okay, so looks good. All right, let's do this Simul today. Tomorrow we're probably gonna have our weekly online Bundesliga event. And yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we're starting approximately in 15-20 minutes. Okay, actually let's make it the start time of 22. Okay. So it starts in 20 minutes. Okay, let's see if people will show up. Let's check what's going on here. There is Rapid World Blitz Championship. Okay. So Lazarek is actually applying. How many Grandmasters are here? I think he is the only Grandmaster. Huh? No, actually there is a second Grandmaster. A bunch of CMs. Okay, he beat FM. There is a draw. He beat another FM. And I think today he plays the colleague, yeah? No, he still plays IM. IM FM. Okay. And what else they have? They have Blitz Open. World Junior Rapid and Blitz Chess Championships. And there is no classical. It's kind of weird. Okay. Chinese National Games, FIDE Cadet Chess Championship, First League of Serbia. Yeah, I wanted to see this. So everybody knows that Oro made his GM norm here. Yes, I saw this game. And then there's no moves here. Yes, I saw this draw. Just played very solid chess. Knight goes to d6. Black is super solid. Granda Zuniga actually lost to Alan Pishaw. Yes, this plan for white is very strong. Now Black King has big problems castling, yeah. Yeah. So Bishop a3 is huge. It's kind of important actually. It's kind of important, so I need to save this game. As a concept, you know, taking care of the squares. So for example, if he takes, plays f6, take knight f6, and there's knight g5, yeah. And this king is stuck on the center. It's pretty bad. Yeah. Now I had to take and play f6. Yeah, that was the better opportunity because you don't have rook hitting e6 pawn. Let's see. This is exactly how I lost to Granda Zuniga. Actually was black. Very similar. And white misplayed, yeah. Okay, but knight d4 here is very difficult to find. This looks logical, but queen g4 has to be played, yeah. After after this. Black's more or less okay. And in one move he makes a mistake and gets lost position. Okay, not lost. Yeah, kind of surprising how many mistakes there are here. Rook d7 with idea of pawn f6, probably instant win, yeah. Because there's bishop d3 check. Instant win because there's this check. Yeah. It's kind of surprising he missed it. He had like 18 minutes on the clock. But queen g3 is still winning, obviously. So he resigned. Mato subscriber tier 1. Hey, Mr. Mato, thank you. You going playing the Simul today? All right. The link to the Simul at the top. Andromeda here. Who is Matt? Okay, Mato, what is your nickname? Your speed Tortuas, National Master, 2300, and you're playing Simuls? Okay. You know, at some point, you know, Simuls are not meant to be played for masters, actually, because you're too strong. Yeah. You made National Master by watching my streams? Wait, so that means you can now play on all these titled events. That's where you should play. Now you get much bigger progress. Well, thank you for the compliment. How do you sign up? You need to be a subscriber, man. You need to be my Twitch subscriber. That's how you sign up. Okay. But I was going after the game here. This was round 7, yeah? And round 8 is completed. Somebody probably left the tournament, yeah, or something. And Oro wins with the rook and game. Rook and bishop versus rook. Funny. Okay. Yeah, knight should be on d4, that's true. Okay, this should not be that bad, but he blundered. Okay, this looks equal. How does white lose this? I don't get it. How does white lose this? Okay. Okay, the knight goes to d5, yeah. Or to b4, correct. Actually, white is much better after queen d4, yeah. Wow. Actually, black got outplayed here. Yeah, this is difficult to understand why white doesn't play here and here, yeah? Bring the knight here, protect the king, and you have extra pawns. Also, there is a check on rook d8, counter-attacking move with the idea of mate. Man, white misplayed his position so bad. +2. After knight d5, just, you know, 2 extra pawns, yeah? Trade the queens. Oh my god, you blundered check on king f7? Seriously? Seriously? On move 51? White has 2 extra pawns. All he has to do is return the knight here. Or give a check. But okay, returning the knight and rook d2 and then king e3 here. Yeah. I mean, that is so weird, man. Okay, but maybe it's not winning, yeah, because the rook is very strong here, and then there is a lot of pins, yeah. But how can you blunder like this? My God, that's crazy. Okay, and this is dead draw. So how did he lose this? You know, he can go back with rook here and try to cut it off. So he just gave the pawn back and got into lost position, yeah. Here and then rook here and mate, yeah. My God, this is so crazy. All right, what am I missing? Hey everybody, okay. Simul is for the Twitch subscribers only. So how is everybody? Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for the rest of the folks. We got like 10 more minutes. Thoughts on Faustino Oro, very strong kid. But okay. How old is he anyway? Oro, Wikipedia. He's born 2013, so that means he is in October, yeah? So he will be 12 in, he'll be 12 in 1 month. So they actually posted that he beat Magnus Carlsen in the Bullet Brawl in 24. My God, is that like an achievement? Yeah, this is his first norm actually, in Madrid. Gukesh was the youngest to achieve the GM norm. During the tournament, his rating crossed 2500. Highest rated 11-year-old in chess history. Sure. Yeah. Well, that's what I said. You know, he's been playing on chess.com for years now. And he's, you know, if you play on chess.com for years, playing strongest world players like Magnus, you know, Fabiano Caruana, yeah. If you play them for years, it doesn't matter how old you're gonna, I mean, if you're young, you're gonna make progress, okay? You're learning so fast. And you have practice, which, you know, we never had practice like this when I was young, okay? If I had access to playing Kasparov or Karpov online, you know, for a few years, when I was, you know, 12, I would probably be, you know, I would probably be very strong at 12 too. I'll probably be better than Magnus at chess. So these kids are, you know, growing up very fast and they're becoming strong. I don't think bullet chess has anything to do with achieving. In fact, bullet chess is not chess, okay? So, you know, if they want to put it as an achievement, okay, it's up to them. But to me, bullet is just, you know, they shouldn't even mention this. The only thing they mention is because, you know, his opponent was Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else matters. Yes, but we're expecting, obviously, him to be the next Gukesh or something and play in the candidates at 16 or 17 for sure. Why not? Yeah. Guys like Faustino Oro, they make, you know, Alireza look like very old. Right? Alireza now is like, what, 20, 22, something. And Faustino is 10 years younger, already 2500. Yeah. That's crazy. Imagine what Faustina can do in 10 years. Orion Arm Citizen. Okay, thank you. Gata Light sounds familiar. I don't care if he makes the youngest GM or not. I think this race towards the youngest GM title is actually... I mean, it doesn't give you anything except this youngest ever. And what does it do? You know, all that makes is that it makes, you know, youngsters kind of overextend, I think. What is the title, youngest ever? Nobody cares. It's not something that, you know, you achieve something with it. Okay. So Mishra was youngest, and then what? And then everybody forgot about him until the next kid came on the block. Yeah. But it's not just the tools, you know, all these guys have coaches. You know, I was told that Faustina has like at least 2-3 coaches working with him. Can you imagine 2-3 coaches working with the kid? Like pretty much on daily basis. No kidding. Of course. Which makes sense because, you know, somebody who does that, you know, that means his country is interested in getting a World Chess Championship title. Argentina grant him some money for his development. I heard like he moved to Spain or something. I mean, Argentina and Spain, of course, are very close, so no idea. Anyway, we have the Simul for my Twitch subscribers. Where's everybody? Where are all my subscribers, man? Faustina's sponsor. Yeah, he has sponsor, which is critical. If you don't have sponsor and no coaches, you're not gonna make a lot of progress. And this guy, you know, that's why he's making progress and he has practice. He has coaches and he has practice. Like, what else do you need? Yes, you have a star. You're my subscriber, so you can play. Yeah. Mr. Damien Rice, you have a star. That means you're a subscriber. Somebody probably gifted you the sub last time or something. So you can play. But who are all these guys? Gata Light, Robert Oppenheimer. Ah, you're Robert Oppenheimer. Okay. All right, we have Zarvas and Gata Light. Like, who are these guys? Well, if you can sub, then you can play. I'm sorry. Poor Misha doesn't have any coaches, but still he played 5th on the Grand Swiss. That is actually a very incredible result, you know? That is actually incredible result, especially for the other Americans too. A lot of them ended up at the top, okay? Huge, huge thing. Mr. Quantenhurst. Good evening. Misha must have a coach? I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Grand Swiss, they all had at least some person who would help them, you know, because you don't have a helper at the Grand Swiss, you got to do preparation, right? Then you got to go play a game, and you don't get a lot of sleep. So it's going to be a very difficult tournament. So I'm pretty sure all these guys, they had at least some kind of help. Well, I don't know why is it a shock. If people don't take you seriously, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys, they didn't take either Mishra or Andy seriously, okay? And then why not? I mean, if we look at the winner of the tournament, right? He sneaked in through the top players and got a win against Hans Niemann last round, and that's how he got to win the tournament, yeah? You know, all the other guys, they had to fight each other at the top. And Giri just skipped that, you know. Until half of the tournament, he was like +1 or +2. And then he sprinted at the very end, and he avoided most of the guys. He played like two or three strong people out of 11 games. I mean, top players. And the other players, you know, he managed to beat, which is an achievement. But still, the other guys, they had to play each other, a lot of top players. So Swiss system is a lot of luck. Is a lot of luck. Pairings is like everything. Okay. All right, we have to start the Simul soon. All right, for all these guys here, are you my subs? If you're my sub, you can play. If you're not a sub, don't apply, please. All right. Actually missing like Mr. Vino, Pete, yeah, like. I mean, I've been doing Wednesdays now for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, see guys, I'm now being famous because I'm a London player. That's it. Not that I play Karpov, not that I won the candidates like PCA, etc., FIDE, yeah, or World Cup. Nope, I'm famous because I'm a London system player. That's it. Well, I mean, please thank you for that, I guess. Though being the promoter of the London system is not like something I consider as an achievement, to be honest. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, that too, FFL, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that too, of course. Yeah, I kind of actually saw Geary's picture with the FFL Cup at some point, which is kind of crazy because, you know, Chess24, when it was run, when this happened, they kind of started making all those FFL products. I don't know how many they sold, but I never saw a single dime from that. And I thought that was extremely rude and insulting. So, you know, I'll remember this crap that, you know, they did to me for many years. Because they just pretty much stole, you know, the vibe, and they stole the tag. And they made money on this, and, you know, they didn't send me a cent. Unfortunately, I didn't have money to pursue this case in the court. If I did, then of course, you know, they would always say like, you know, we didn't sell a lot of those. But, you know, it's like a cult thing. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, it's 10:02. Let's start the Simul. If somebody will be late, sorry for those guys. Start with 4. Last call. If there are any subscribers still here who want to join the Simul, speak now or hold your peace until the next week. Yeah. All right, let's go. Why doesn't it ring? It doesn't ring. Okay. I can't resist the Dutch system. Well, you know the London, yeah? So let's see. C3. Oh, Andromeda, you're playing that, okay. Yeah. So how do you like this, how do you like this thing? Better than other openings? Well, you're too late. It's already started, man. So you can't join. Sorry. You cannot join, man. It's too late. Then you play this. Yeah, you gotta wait until next week for the Simul thing. Because this week I'm going to the Bundesliga. So guys, there will be no Simul on Sunday. Okay, sorry about that. I think I play like this, yeah. E5 is very interesting. E5 is actually very interesting. So, yeah, Germany, I think we're playing the same thing, yeah. Good results, excellent. That's so. If you're doing well in a certain opening, just stick to it. It's your thing, and then you have to understand why you're having good results in it, because you know that the good results in the opening, they can tell you your strength and weaknesses. Okay, that's kind of important. So it's good to know your weaknesses and strength for sure. All right, let me play this. Looks weird, but okay. Why not? I'm trying to, you know, get some anti-isolated pawn position. Yeah, because then you kind of know like which positions you should go for in general, which structures, pawn structures, like piece activity, you know, compensation, pair of bishops, open positions, etc., etc. So those things are important. Yeah, and then yeah, then pretty much just this, yeah. Yeah, this is the beauty of the complicated Dutch. You don't quite know what to do. You don't quite know what to do. So the thing here is, should I allow this or not? Yeah, he's waiting for this e6, yeah, so that he can get stuff here. Okay, fine, let's play it. That's fine. Yes, Mr. Quantenhurst, you're playing Vienna against Sicilian. That's very interesting. There is the system with queen takes d4, d2, b3, bishop b2, yeah, but that I think that works mostly against d6. Not sure if it works against e6. Okay, we'll see, yeah. Not sure. Okay, get the rook out. We're getting the rook out, and we also stopped a5, which I think is important, because if he plays a5, he fixes your pawn structure, then you can never break with b5 because he takes rook a3 or something. Yeah, but maybe just take with a knight actually. Although taking with the pawn is very interesting. But then it's kind of a big problem dealing with your knight on g4. But okay, actually I think pawn takes is always better. Because then potentially you can move this pawn without weakening your king. So that may be not so bad. Absolutely, that's the whole point. Experimenting, learning new stuff. Why not? Bishop on b7 doesn't do well, I think. It's kind of weird bishop here, to be honest. Okay, maybe it works. Who knows? Right, knight should be here. So the bishop goes to e3, pretty way. Yeah, there are many ways for white to play this line. But this is just my favorite because it's so safe. But black equalizes here for sure. Black equalizes here. Right. Can I play this? It's kind of looks ridiculous, but why not? Why not? If I can put this fella here, cover the squares, and also helps me break, yeah, why not? I mean, in Benoni, black tries to play 5 all the time, right? Also in King's Indian. And now you already have a 5 end, so I'm not complaining. Okay. All right, knight d2. And we're getting our famous position, yeah, Andromeda. This is what we've been getting in all our previous games. Yeah, but okay, Queen d2 also very interesting, yeah. Okay, I need to exchange your potential attacking material, so I can go into the endgame and torture you forever here. That's pretty much the idea. The idea is to torture black forever. Whoa, he is willing to torture himself. Okay. All right. As you can see, the endgame is obviously to white's advantage. With the beautiful knight on d4 versus the bad bishop on b7. The big question is, will that be enough? I don't know. I don't know if that will be enough. The beautiful thing about knight on e8 is that I can also go here and protect my king. So let's take, push this rook away, and let's play this, because we need to break through here. Yeah, he fixed my weakness. He managed to put a 4 in. His knight potentially coming there. He managed to get all that. And how bad can this be? Yeah? How bad can this be? I'm very curious. Extremely curious. Yeah. Rook e7. Okay, if I play. So I can play this first. Bishop d7. Yeah, then we get the structure, yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's where I usually, with white, I play something here different. Like what? Like what? Yeah. I remember it was fine for black. Yeah, that's true. This line was fine for black. What can I do here? What can I do here? Absolutely unclear what I can do here, yeah. If I keep my center intact, then what? Then what will happen? Okay, fine. Let's put this bishop here. Okay, but this is potentially something. Potentially. Development is important. Yeah, this looks like Paulson where black plays queen d6 and white goes back to f3, yeah. I think this is what, this looks the same. Yeah. That's what it looks like. All right, let's try to get this thing here, yeah. I mean, I can probably play h6 to get away, take away the square, but not sure, because then this pawn will become really weak. That's the problem. There's this development, quite possible. Or just knight e7, yeah. Knight f6, I prefer not to play. I prefer to develop the knight on g6. Yeah, this is definitely better for white, yeah, I agree. Now that you put it that way, I have no choice but to agree. All right. So this bishop become really bad. So now I have to think of ways to use it to my advantage. Okay, so we're back at the Sicilian Khan sort of thing. Normal developments. Everybody is using time. I'm very happy to see that. I'm very happy to see that. Yeah, this is the only position I'm not very happy with. Means I messed up my opening somewhere. It was very slow somewhere. Where was I slow? Where was I slow? Yeah, probably this 98 was not the greatest move in the world, yeah. Yeah, I think this move was actually at fault. Probably bishop d7 immediately. 97 looks logical. Yeah, knight on c6 is coming. It's going to be very unpleasant. It will be extremely unpleasant. That's true. But my knight on d4 is kind of... But you might get him, yeah. So... And the pawn on c6 will be a huge problem. That will be a huge problem. Yeah, this whole transfer of the knight is very, very strong. Very strong. Yeah. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything that I can do? My god, my position is horrible. Yeah. Okay, very good play by white. Very good play by white. Perfect understanding and marking of all my weaknesses and pawn exchanges, pawn breaks, and squares. Perfect game, man. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I was looking at this line, and of course, you know, there is a reason why nobody plays it. I just couldn't remember the correct move order. The move orders are critical in the Dutch defense. And the move orders are absolutely critical. That is true. And if I don't remember the correct move order, then I'm screwed pretty much. That is the problem, yeah. The knight trade I'm pretty happy with, actually. I'm pretty happy with the knight trade. Do I want to take or let you take? It's a big question. That's a very good question. Actually, there is idea of queen c7 first. So sometimes you can take with the queen and set up this battery. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember like what was my line in the Dutch against that. Maybe not d6. Just couldn't remember. Yeah. Okay, I'll look at it. I'll look at it before next Simul. For sure. Yeah, I think. Let me think. Yeah, I don't think I have a choice. Yeah, so I'm gonna take and play this. Probably losing, but so what? Yeah, I probably can just take it, yeah. That looks correct. The problem is that, you know, yeah, the pin. That was a tactical problem. The problem was a tactical one. Yeah, king here is a little bit dangerous. King should not be at the front, but I was curious. If I can play like this. Because king is supposed to be an active piece in the endgame. The question is always, of course, how much active can he be? How much active? So it was actually better probably to play king d3, so you maintain this retreating square for your knight. But again, I wanted to infiltrate, yeah. I wanted to infiltrate. Then I definitely take. Yeah, I'm pretty sure then I take this. Hey, random DGN, what's up? Bishop h3. That is very strong. This move is a killing move. Yeah, I have to play this. Yeah. And knight goes here. But king c5 was very interesting. Yeah. King c5 was interesting. Looks like I got 0 chances to draw this game. This guy is just too strong. Yeah, in games is important to practice, yeah. Keep doing it, man. And games is where the top games are decided. If you noticed, a lot of endgames in Grand Swiss too. Yeah. Hans Niemann's game included. That's a lot of endgames there. Let's play d5. And this way, Black's bishop on c7 is kind of A little bit awkward, yeah? Would you guys say that that piece is a little bit off? Tiny bit. Tiny bit off. I'm actually pretty happy with my pawn structure now. We got this legendary Kasparov bishop on b1 versus Karpov's knight on b4. If you know your classical games, that's the common. That was the common thing. Gary attacking, Karpov trying to defend. Alright. But you do know we have this knight coming as well, yeah? This pawn will be attacked. See, that was the point of king on d4, and you're keeping the square alive. So that was kind of important. Knight e4, very interesting move. Also very tactical. Well, I don't think I have a choice here. Yeah, I gotta take this thing. Gotta take that thing. Yeah, I don't have a choice and move back. Yeah. Try to keep at least some sort of. If white king gets into the endgame there, I'm just lost, yeah, completely. So I'm trying to get some semblance of the counterplay. Yes. Mr. Mato, you should be playing OTB with such skill, man. With a skill like yours, you should get like good results very fast. Knight goes back. Should I go back? I think I should go back, yeah. But b4 knight c5 looks actually very interesting. That is a very interesting move. Yeah, let's do that actually. I don't see how he can use the fact that my knight is terrible. So I'm down 3 pawns, but I managed to slightly dislodge his knight from the excellent position. So let's see how that helps me, if it does. Yeah, you missed I think you missed a win or two. I mean, you're still winning, but I think you missed an immediate win. There were a couple of immediate wins that I can see actually that you missed. Yeah. Aha. Now I can play this, yeah. So b4 and take. Okay, knight h4 looks reasonable. Taking away the square, working on this diagonal. Yeah, that's why I love playing this system for black, because I'm kind of behind in the developments, and because rook is behind, your rook is going to get very passive, and now you're going to run out of pawn moves. Okay, you're going to run out of the pawn moves, man. That's your problem, because your king moves, you lose this pawn. Your rook moves, this pawn is being pushed. Ah, you're playing OTB, that's how you got an M. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, you still need to, okay, you're doing well, man. So keep doing whatever you've been doing. It works. It works. Just keep playing and you'll be like FM in no time. I think if you play like this, you should be like I am very soon. With the opening prep, transition, everything, you'll be fine. Okay. All right, let's push the pawn. Well, we can. Pushing this pawn is the top priority. Absolutely top priority. So, the reason I think my position is okay now is because the difference in the kings, okay? That's the main thing. Yes, now we come to the critical moment that I can feel. It's gonna make it or break my position. If 7 is actually maybe a threat. Goes here, then check and knight check, yeah. So maybe I'm not in time actually to hold this pawn. That will be sad. That will be a sad day if I cannot hold this pawn. Okay, so I'm not correct here, yeah. That was not the correct choice, unfortunately. I should have just taken this pawn and played the rook here. Actually, I should have taken this pawn immediately here and get the king. Yeah, I forgot about this check on a7. Not good. Yeah, this was very bad. Yeah, I can just resign, yeah. Yeah, I don't have time for this and this, but he's with the check. Okay, good job. Alright, I am curious now. I am curious. You played a 13 centi pawn loss. Okay. That's 2900 elo level play. Not bad. D6 here. Yeah, this is probably already advantage, yeah? Yeah. D6 here, that's the main move. That was the main move. A6, I don't know this move. 95, 93, castles. B3, and it's already unpleasant from black, yeah. B2, A4. F1. G4 is correct. Yeah, knight c3 was pretty amazing move, I didn't see it. But this whole idea of putting this knight way here and here, this is extremely unusual. I didn't see it, but you saw it. Okay, very impressive. That's why I should have played bishop d7 here and stopped it, yeah. I didn't realize you're gonna play knight b5 here. But of course, what else can you do, yeah? Knight a7. Yeah, so this is the moment which I missed, yeah? This is the only moment that I had and I couldn't find the solution. And it's not easy to find this move. The engine line is very complicated, but the idea is that you activate your rook. And you force white into this trade. Queen e1, rook b8, and this endgame is a superior version of the endgame that I got, except that he also won this pawn, if you remember. But if you keep this pawn alive, then it's not so easy for him to win this. Because black pieces are pretty active, yeah. Still a huge advantage for black, but this knight is very strong. If there was no this knight, white would probably be winning immediately. Yeah, there is no way I would see it in a game like this. Will I be able to see this in the tournament game? That's a big question. Bishop f5 was another move, but I felt like this was already a lost cause. King f8, yeah, I saw this. I didn't believe in this. I mean, it's already lost, yeah. So let's see. This is the only point where I was not sure. I felt that I played this part well. First line. 95, second line. King d6. Yeah, you're still winning. This is first line, yeah. This is like incredible move. And f5 you win, yeah. So king d5 had to be played. Yeah, that's what I said. I had to take this pawn. And it's still winning after rook e1 and f5, obviously. After this is lost, yeah. 6, I have to play this, and then knight g2, yeah. 4, bishop g7. Okay, but he's still required here to do some accurate moves. Yeah. All right, good job. Let's go back. Queen f6. Not bad. Well, you played with 13 centi-pawn loss. I don't think you need much practice, man. You can just go and play like this. And if you play like this in tournaments, you'll be grandmaster in no time. That I can guarantee you. All right, let's see. This looks good, yeah. Hey, Pyle, what's up? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, the whole knight e4, c3, b5, a7 is mind-boggling. I've never seen anything like this. I played Dutch like so many years. I've never seen the knight from the center go on the side to go to a7 to c6. I've never seen it. It's the first time I've ever seen it. I played Dutch for a decade now. Played hundreds, thousands of games. I've never seen this. That to me is more incredible than anything else. Okay, but it's good to know, yeah. Very interesting idea. Well, it makes sense because, you know, knight on a4 is beautiful, and the idea was to put him on g5 to e6, but obviously it's not gonna work, yeah. So that's how you think, and you arrive to this idea that the knight on e4 is actually much better on c6. Yeah, the thinking though is like, I don't know, man. The thinking is crazy. So if you prepare like this in every other opening, you'll be like, I am like very fast, okay? The Grandmaster is a different question, but shouldn't be too far off either. Okay, so let's just take it, yeah? It's fine. 94. Okay, you tell me about knight c4, a5, everybody knows about this. I'm talking here about knight e4 getting to a7. How many games you've seen that happened? I've pretty much never seen this before. You put your centralizing knight out to a7. I mean, you need to have like this huge fantasy vision. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, I'm just saying it was incredible, okay? I'm very impressed, man. Very impressed. Good job. Good job finding it. And thank you for sharing with us, because I hope everybody remembers this idea. So it's an amazing idea. So, guys, you were here present at the historical moment. The idea of putting knight on e4 to a7. Crazy. No problem. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about the Sicilian Khan. White does have developmental advantage, but black structural, pawn structure, and pieces, they're extremely adaptive. And black king is pretty safe in the center. So yes, you want to break through, but the only way to break through black position here, I'll tell you, Mr. Quantenhurst, is that you need the rook on e1, then you play a4, and after b4 you play knight d5 and sacrifice this knight. Because if I take this knight with the pawn, then you create this huge attacking chances here, and then the pawn might go to d6, and this is considered to be very complicated, okay? But that's pretty much the only way for white to play for an advantage. If you play with the normal means like f4, e4, e5, it's nothing. So it's either a4, knight d5, or the other plan for white is actually to play knight a2, and then you play c3, and then you try to open the queen side. Okay, so these are the only two things. All right, Andromeda, that queen f6 was really bad. You know that, yeah? You just gave me a huge gift, man. Huh? What? I mean, this looks completely winning, yeah? If Garry Kasparov was playing this was white, he would be like, all right. I'm not Garry Kasparov. So I'm just gonna go and try to get your knight. I mean, white's major pawn, nice bishops, strong knights. My only piece that is not playing is this rook. Your knight is not playing, your bishop is not playing, your knight is not playing. This is passive and open king. So I believe that g4 should work here. That's why I play it. Okay, guys, you see it, yeah? Because this guy is taking care of the square. The moment he leaves, you take and check. If he leaves here, you take and take. So you guys see it, right? This bishop and this knight, they look good, but they don't do anything. That's actually a very famous Spanish trap for black. You think you put pieces on the good squares, but they are way away from the action. That is the big problem with black's position. All right. Wow. Yeah, f5 is probably the only move. I agree, Andromeda. This does look like the only try left for you. This is very tempting. Very tempting. I like my knight, and your knight kind of sucks. I don't want to take this knight. Knight sucks. There should be win here. I just can't find it, man. Like, where is it? Where is this win? Should be here. I'm missing some tactical idea. I'm missing some tactical idea. What is it? All right, this looks good. This looks good. This intermediate check, very important. To block the queen and the rook. You guys see it, yeah? This check just blocked his king and rook, and his king is open. So you see how the thinking is going, yeah? You look at the obvious moves, and then you try to, disconnect your opponent's pieces. That's how you arrive at moves like this. I'm actually curious if this is the correct. Yeah, although here you're already worse, okay? 0.6 is actually a very unpleasant position. So This is the position where, yeah, you should not take on d4 unless you're absolutely certain that things will work. See? Bishop f4, advantage white. All right, so this is critical position. Yes, the way you play it, you take here and then you play knight b4. You don't allow this bishop to get here. Okay, and then you play c5. Because if you allow this bishop here, then this trade, this bishop will become very strong and restricts actually your knight here. Now your knight is not that great. Now you had to play this move. You had to play this move and try to keep this bishop open, okay? Because your knight is now kind of awkward, but if I play e5, you put the knights here. Knights here, they take away the key squares from my queen to attack you. At the same time, you're kind of hitting this guy. So this is the position where this is very difficult to play for both. At this point, I probably play something like this. Then you play c6 and we arrive at this position, normal. This is standard position, right? You take, and a little bit better for white, but defensible. The bishop here, e5, knight e4, d6, knight e5. It's +3, yeah, you lost. And you guys see knight g6 actually first line. Check, because again, interrupting queen, way out. Rook is now blocking. If he takes, you hit this. Rook was his London bishop, by the way. So his only way is to play something like this, and then you can take it. Because queen is not coming out here. And then this pawn is gone. Once this pawn is gone, there is check and mate. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay, we played this game, we played this game, we finished this game, okay. Then we just trade pieces with Mr. Quantenhurst. Well, but as somebody mentioned, Mr. Mato mentioned that, you know, he's a Benoni player. And in Benoni, e5 is like #1 thing that you can play. Okay, so you gotta be always alert for that. All right, let's push this knight. First, and then actually I can castle, yeah. If you get your knight to b4, black is better, that is incorrect. I mean, check those Karpov-Kasparov games in Zaitsev. Knight b4 and bishop b1 is Zaitsev structure. The thing about Spanish is there are so many structures which are related, okay? And knight b4, bishop b1 is the famous structure. There is also a very famous structure where black has a6, b5, c5, d6 versus d5, e4 for white, and white has a pawn on a4, yeah? And the knight on b4 is untouchable, but you know, the center, fixed center, gives white spatial advantage and the attack, okay? There's like so many Spanish structures on that. Like a lot of them. Yeah. Okay, we got Andromeda's entourage arriving. Excellent. Yeah. Entourage is here. All right, so you pretty much miss knight h4, right? That's one of the things. Again, queen d4, knight c6. The idea is you play either queen e3 here and queen d2 and try to develop this bishop here. Because if you play queen d1, then you kind of gave me whole tempo. So the idea of queen d4 is to play here, and then you have rooks connected. Rook goes here, bishop b3, bishop b2. Often white plays and castles. Yeah, this is actually a very interesting line here with the castling, and then f4, knight f3, and fast attack. Yeah, so that's actually playable. After queen d1, black should be okay. The bishop does not belong on e3. You don't know where this bishop moves. So the idea is, again, bishop usually goes here, castles, rook e1, and then a4, knight d5, okay? That's the standard Khan treatment. So, for example, castles, castles. Yeah, now if black can play several ways. If you play knight f6, d6, bishop e7, then you kind of can hit him here. Actually, e5 looks good, yeah? Yeah, because I don't have enough attackers and this knight is bad. Yeah. So knight f6 I don't play. I play normally knight e7, then rook here, and then knight g6, yeah? And then a4, b4, and you can play knight d5 here. And then knight e3, knight c4, knight b6, yeah? If you get this. Yeah, the engine says, yeah, okay. Yeah, you can play bishop e3 here also. And the idea is a4, a5, and try to get the square under control and prevent this bishop. And this is a very complicated position, but I kind of like black here. And I usually play here, yeah, this one. This is how I played against Abdusatorov when he was like 12 years old in Reykjavik. And I managed to get advantage with black because, but he managed to trick me and make a draw, I think. Yeah, he managed to trick me in the end. I think I was winning, and then he tricked me. He was already, yeah, very strong then. And of course, Abdusatorov many years later, now he's a top 10 player, yeah, for many years now. Okay, for a few years. Yeah. So, bishop belongs on d3. So bishop e2 is not exactly Scheveningen, yeah. That's how you play in the Scheveningen. If the pawn is on f4, knight is on d4, and then you castle. With the knight on f3, you don't play bishop e2. You need bishop on d3. Okay, and here, 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 still okay. See, and you went back, yeah. So the idea is that, again, here you kind of play against this pawn, a4. And the idea is you put this knight here. Because if you can manage to put this knight here, a5, knight b6, you have like actually advantage. I mean, it's not that simple, but I mean, it's never, it is never simple. And it's kind of crazy. You see how crazy this becomes? But I don't like this position for black. This is not how I play. I don't like pawns like that. So I would not play d5. So here, that's why the engine plays knight a5. Stops a5 and stops knight c4. And then it's equal, but I think it's nice to play with black. Okay. So after knight d4, queen c7, I see black is already a little bit better. And this was a mistake, actually. Knight c5 is actually standard thing here, yeah. I forgot that after queen b6, yeah, you're forced to play this and you're just much worse, yeah. So be careful about this pins when you play f4, okay? So take, rook c8, and now you're okay, but you just need to play rook d1 and sort of go into the endgame, yeah. This is the endgame that I was planning to go to. Then you play a3. And it's a little bit better for black, because all the Sicilian endgames are better for black, because these pawns are worse than these, and black has central control. But, you know, you have good chance to defend it. Yeah, e5 is just knight h4. You see, it's -2, yeah? It's just lost instantly. Because also knight f5, bishop here, and this. So that was a tactical oversight. Yeah. Knight h4 is standard, okay? So now you know the pattern, okay? Pavel. Yeah, those, again, yeah, but those are the classics and they're kind of important. Bishop takes b5 to get my knight in as b4 to push, yeah, yeah. Well, Khan is weird, but I played all my life, and you know I like, you know, good results with it. Yeah, because again, fluid pawn structure. Yes, black is behind with the development, but you know, white misses something, black can easily take over. Like for example, last year I played a game against Vasily Graf, one of the leading theoreticians, and he knew I was gonna play this line and he prepared it. But then during the board I spent like 1 hour and I went for this most direct line, which was worse for me, but it gave me the best practical chance. And then he made a mistake and I was already better. I don't know if you guys saw this game, but it was absolutely crazy. And I was completely winning in the rook endgame. And then I miscalculated and he drew. But you know, draw with Vasily Graf was black and getting winning position after the opening. I mean, it's crazy, yeah? So that's why I played this line for black. There is another guy who plays it really well and also has a lot of experience. That guy is Ne4-a7, yeah? And we play like similar openings with him, yeah? So if you want to learn this line, study from our games, me and him, and you'll be fine. Yeah, it's actually not a bad opening. It's kind of tricky, but yeah, it's not bad. I mean, there's so many good openings for black in Sicilian, like Najdorf, yeah, Sveshnikov, but there is so much theory, and Sicilian Khan is like least amount of theory compared to Najdorf or Sveshnikov. I'll tell you the problem. The problem with e6, with this move order, not with knight c3. The problem with e6, the only problem that I have for black is that white can play c3, and then you have to know this stuff, yeah. So, which is why I play this, and again, this is very safe for white. It's like so safe, unbelievable. And I'm like, black has to struggle to equalize here. Yeah, the engine will tell you it's equal, but okay, as a human you have to struggle. So Mr. Quantenhurst, you know, this is a very interesting way for white to play. Actually, Alapin is been mainstay opening repertoire for even here, yeah, for many top players. Like Tivikov was like one of the oldest guys who like played this his entire life. Also Sveshnikov played it, of course, c3, yeah. So Lapin is actually not a bad opening, especially if like go deeper. There are so many tactical lines where you know, black thinks he's okay, but he can get absolutely destroyed in the opening. So, all right, gentlemen, that was the Simul. Yeah. Well, you're of course a subscriber, yeah, and that means I'll activate this video right after I end in few minutes. I'll activate it on Twitch, okay, so you can watch it on Twitch, and I'll put it on YouTube tomorrow. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the weekly Bundesliga event, okay, and then I'm gonna go off for Bundesliga. All right, so yeah, see you guys.